Hello, what up? My name is Jacob. I run this whole Jigsaw thing, and I usually do a music video or release a song every Wednesday. And last week I didn't do it, and this week I didn't. I have been busy and some family shit. Don't worry about it. So, this is going to be rambly and hopefully highly edited. And I'm probably going to do more of this because I like talking to the camera. I have written some scripts, and there's going to be some future stuff that won't be nearly as rambly. So, hope you'll enjoy that. What we're going to look at today is not a music software. It's like not even a music program, or there's a program involved. More of a music programming language. So that's an intersection of my two favorite things, something electronic and music. And I fell in love with it over the last couple of days. And I wanted to share not only the result of that fucking around, but also the journey throughout it. This music programming language is called ChucK. Let's look at this program and let me get away from staring at myself because that's kind of awkward. Eh. Welcome to ChucK. This is the program called Mini Audio Signal that you can use to run ChucK. ChucK is this random words and symbols and shit. The way this works, the Mini Audio Signal program, is that there's an editor with folders of things, a virtual machine, so you can run your programs, and most importantly, you can run your programs in parallel. This is a ChucK program. What does that mean? First, we say we want an oscillator that makes sine waves, so sine us. If you want a saw wave, you could say saw us, but we're going to do sine. And we're going to send that sine oscillator into the DAC, which is an abstraction for the digital to audio converter inside the computer somewhere. Oops, it's okay, Mike. So we have like an oscillator going into the DAC. We can write a program. Wonderful. So now we just have a sinus wave oscillator. Now we have an infinite loop because infinite loops are fun. Then we're going to advance time because time should be advanced to process audio. The way ChucK works is that you do something and then you say, let's move forward in time. You could also, instead of milliseconds, I can say 100 days, which would be real boring to listen to. So let's stay with milliseconds. And then we're going to get a random frequency between 30 hertz and 80 hertz and chuck that straight into the oscillator's frequency. We have some repetitive and random. This is the heart of what computers can do. Let's listen to it. Well, that sounded pretty fucking shit, right? So that was what you hear when you have a mainframe just working really hard on digits of pi or some shit. I actually quite like it if you just make it a bit slower. So, where do we go from here? ChucK has virtual instruments. Unit generators, are they called. So this is the ChucK programming guide or the reference. They have a bunch of these like unit generators, or which are classes in Java. So there's the DAC and the ADC, which is if you want a microphone input, which would be useful. There's a bunch of processing things you can do in here. I am actually looking into playing around with it. Don't worry about it. So down here, this is the category that really interested me. They have instruments. So I was looking at this and then I saw a board. That's just a string. That can be a violin, stand-up bass, viola, anything in between. And there's a mandolin. Those are the only ones I've used. I haven't deeply looked into the others because, okay, what the fuck is a blowhole? So now I now know what a blowhole is. So back to explanation. So we have some strings and a mandolin now. Like, I like mandolins. Let's make a song, because why not? So I fired up ChucK and I wrote 3 programs. The first of them is this thing called chord, which uses 4 mandolins and some reverb and a compressor. Don't worry about this. I looked at what notes you can play on the mandolin and wrote them all in as flutes. From G3 to E6. Now you will realize, why is there no C sharp or D sharp or A sharp or A flat? Because Jacob is lazy and thought, I'm not gonna move into multi-key music with this, so I only had it in C major and A minor. And what I wrote was mostly centered around A minor, so it's okay. And then I defined the chords as according to how I imagined they would be played on a mandolin. So I looked at a mandolin's fretboard and how the chords are laid out, and I wrote the 7 chords that would fit in a minor scale, or C major for that sake. Then I wrote these 3 programs, strum, 8-up, and play C. I do not know why this is called play C, but it is. They play a like 8/8 quarter note thing here. It's like do 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 do, and this is just do 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 do. Just straight 8 notes. And the strumming is very quickly after each other. It sounds okay. I think I could have done it better. The problem with making the strumming sound good, when you have one of those mandolin objects, it's a mandolin with 1 string. Technically, you can only have 1 note playing out at the same time. So what I in effect had to do was have 4 mandolin players finger 1 note from the chord and then very quickly play in sequence the notes. So that was a joy. Then I had this play amp that played the 8-up and play C. So da 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 da. Wonderful. And then just a function for hey, play 1 note to simplify all of these. And then I wrote some verses. So we have a very simple blues progression, just minor 1, minor 4th, minor 1, minor 5th, minor 4th, minor 1, minor 5th. Just simple 12th bar blues. Right, that's 12th bar. That's 12th bar. All those math classes paying off. Then I wrote a weird kind of chorusy thing, and that plays twice. Then I wrote this timing loop to have some timing. This was mostly because using mini Audicycle, you can't start 2 threads at the same time. A thread is an instance of the program. You can using other ways to host ChucK, but I was too lazy to open those, so I just manually timed it. So I would play this at the start and then activate one of the other things. So let's listen to our mandolin part. So first we're going to hear the timing. take all of these things and stuff them into Ableton and make them sound like music. So, after I had all of this chord progression, I was like, that sounds wonderful. Let's have something in the back, because as you could hear, that was kind of boring to listen to. So I made a pad type thing with 4 bows. And it did the same. This is a lot of customization you could do on how the bows sound. I have done a few things. The same timing thing, way more notes because fuck me. Change the way the chords are played, because of course the string section wouldn't play the chords the same way the mandolin part would, right? So we have a root in the bass and then just standard triads with like in first inversion all of them, because I'm not exactly knowledgeable in how string quartets play, but something tells me that, except if you wanted specifically, you could play in a different inversion, but mostly you wouldn't. At least you can change that around if you think that sounds good. And it's a cool thing to play around with on the piano, but I was lazy and I don't think it was necessary. It could help you create the melody and lead that, but this isn't going to be a very melody-driven song. It's mostly harmony. I wrote a thing how to get the the strings to play a chord. Wonderful. I wrote the verses again, the same part, and just looped that. So that's nice. So this individually sounds like this. This is not exactly impressive all the time, but after some processing it sounded a lot and it helped with the mandolin. So let's actually hear them. So let's look at the timing. Let's fire up the mandolin. And look at the last thing I did in ChucK. So one of the things computers are very good at is randomness, as exemplified by this first thing. So computers are very good at randomness. So I took a sine wave and threw it through an ADSI envelope and wrote an array with all the scale nodes, right? And then I had it play random notes for fun. Just whole note, just random note from the scale, whole note, random one from the scale. So this sounds like this. So why would Jacob do this? Because this is not entirely interesting or good sounding, for that sake. I stumbled upon a video made by one of my favorite YouTube creators called Andrew Huang, and he showed this show off this trick where he just needed some background ambience and just improvised some singing over it and did a lot of processing, and it gave this nice and cool background noise texture thing. I liked it. Link in the description as well. So I decided to do the same. And so I exported all of these things and threw them into Ableton. Welcome to Ableton. This is not my favorite DAW, but one of them. I quite like this piece. So I threw in my mandolin thing, I threw in my pads, and I threw in a random string of stuff. I will explain what I've done with that later. So First thing, I cut off this like small tracking part. I might remove it, but I might not, because I actually quite like it as an intro. That's probably all I have done with the mandolin. When I had done that, I put in the strings. Whoa, they are here. There's some delay on them and some reverb and a bunch of stuff. I did some EQing, just to get out some notes that were ringing. That's annoying. High pass and a high what are they called? Like a high shelf to just make it more mellow and more like somber. So that random background thing, I just put it in, added a like fade at the beginning, so it doesn't start abruptly. Had it real low, made a copy that's 1 octave down, did a bunch of processing that's explained in the Andrew Hong video, but it's basically, I added some saturation because we have like 4 sine waves, or well, technically 8 in this case, but that's fucking boring. So I add some saturation to give it a bit of, just a little bit of warmth, and some EQ and some compression and some chorus and some auto panning and reverb and delay and more compression. I'm going to, when we have added drums and bass and stuff, I'm going to add another compression or another compressor that's sidechained to that, so it will just stay out of the way of our music. But I actually quite like how it turns out. Let's solo this and hear how it sounds. It's not the most interesting sound, but I feel like it gives just a little bit of just niceness around. So let's just hear from the beginning, and then we're going to look at what the fuck do we do now, because I have plans. To assume you have an idea of what's going on, right? It's not hard to make out. We're having some chill, relaxed stuff. So, first of all, I have actually written some bass for it on my laptop that I will somehow get out of this during a break from recording this and stuff in there, and then hopefully actually record on my bass guitar that's laying down there somewhere. But first of all, let's do some drums. Aren't supposed to be that loud currently, but I'm just making them, and then I'm mixing after this and off the record, so yeah, so you won't have to see me screwing around with volumes and stuff. So we have some drumming that is actually pretty decent. Wonderful. Let's do that bass thing. I'm just going to go up here, find the MIDI clip. Right, this is the MIDI file, and just fucking drag and drop it in. Nope, because I'm not a very smart person. Let's just put like, why the fuck didn't I? Jacob, you're not a smart person. God damn it, you're so stupid. Oh. Let's hear how this sounds. Okay, so Angle starts with a like cool 80s lead type thing as a preset. So let's hear how it sounds as the bass. I'm interested. split this up just so like I have an idea. Okay, this is how I wrote it. Wonderful. So I am not using that bass sound. It's like not horrible, but I don't exactly like it. I'm going to go grab my actual bass, tune it, and we're going to have some Jacob playing bass. So now we're back in Ableton, and you should be able to see that we have audio bass instead of MIDI bass, so that's fucking wonderful. I think that's about it. That's all the elements we want in here, all the mixing and stuff will be done. So I think that's about it. All the mixing and stuff I will do while you are not looking at me, and I might tell you what I've done, I might not. So either I'll see you again, or yeah, I will see you. So I'll see you again and explain what I've done, and we'll see. And then there should be a final track, I hope. Hey, and welcome back. I have done some basic editing and mixing and mastering and stuff. And I programmed some ending notes so that this song just doesn't just end, but it fits out playing a chord that I think you're going to enjoy. I think that's about it. I'm going to say goodbye, and you're going to get to hear the song that we made with ChucK. So if you enjoyed this, and if you're still watching, drop a like. You're this far, I promise you, the song won't start playing before you have liked. I'm totally kidding, but also, if you want more of this stuff, there's like a subscribe button somewhere down there that you can press on. I hope you had fun. I certainly did. Take care. See you later. Enjoy. ChucK.